Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, today, many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. Now, this is what we are faced with, and this is the reality. Now, when we come to Washington, in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
I remember when the ATL wasn't banging, now they bang. Niggas throwing sets and them bullets start ringing, bitches bang. I remember when the ATL wasn't banging, now they bang. Niggas throwing sets and them bullets start ringing like bang.
Oh man.
Turn right, then exit right.
What a shitty day, man. What a shitty day. What a shitty week, to be honest with you. Shoulder hurt for some odd reason. Well, I know why it hurt, but it's been nagging for pretty much since the beginning of the week. I need a couple of days off, man. I need to recharge the batteries, man. Like, I'm kind of burned out right now. Probably in the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna take a couple of days, man. I got to at this point. I don't want to, because I mean, you know, money's money, but I gotta. I mean, I'll take vacation days, but I don't want to use vacation days just to like sit and relax. You know what I'm saying? But at this point, man, I don't think I really got much of a choice, man. I'm fucking tired, man. I ain't gonna sit here in front. I'm tired as hell, man. Every now and again, you just need to recharge the batteries, man. Every now and again, you just need to recharge the batteries, bro. And I definitely need to recharge the batteries. So I can just lay flat on my back, man, in my own fucking bed, man, and go to sleep, bro. I need that time. Like, I need it. Desperately, I need it. So, but any event, what's up with y'all, man? I decided to do this on StreamYard. I don't think I'm gonna rock with YouTube Live. I think something going on with YouTube Live. I mean, I could be wrong. It could just be me. I don't know. But I tried to do a live yesterday talking about, you know, the state of gaming and the Steam Machine price. And it said I was live the whole time and I was talking, but it didn't record for some odd. I don't know why. And that's the second time it's there. You know, I tried to do another live the day before that, and I don't know. It just wasn't working. I don't know what the fuck was going on. So, I mean, I guess, you know, the best bet is just go through StreamYard. I mean, I can do, you know, a vertical YouTube live through StreamYard too. So, you know, That's probably my best bet at this point. I don't know what's going on with YouTube Live, but they've been tripping the last couple of days. You know, I'm on the move, so I understand like my signal is constantly bouncing, you know. But I mean, you saying that I'm live and I'm not live, you know, like that. I'm talking with my ass in the wind, and I shouldn't be able to, you know, have to go through that. You know, minor inconvenience, but until YouTube Live get whatever they got to get sorted out, like I said, it could be on my end. I simply don't know. But you know, I can do everything that I want to do as far as talking shit through StreamYard. You know, ain't nothing wrong with that. But what's up? What's up with y'all though, man? I wanted to talk about. So last night they had some primaries up in the great state of New York. As far as the congressional seats, Mamdani had 3 candidates that he backed that were also members of DSA, Democratic Socialists of America. And all 3 of those candidates won their primaries. All 3 of them. I think it's safe to say now, you know, it's hard to call it hostile takeover. I don't want to call it that because at the end of the day, it's the will of the people, right? You know, I don't want to make it seem like it's some nefarious shit going on because it's not, you know. It's just the dynamics as a whole in certain areas is changing politically. That's just a fact. Now, whether it's changing for better or worse is for you to decide. You know, I can't make you understand any type of political reality that you're not willing to concede to. You know, that's not up for me to decide. We are individuals at the end of the day. We all have our own understanding and perspective when it relates to socio-political matters. That's just what the fuck it is, you know. We can do our best to try to convince or rebut certain positions. At the end of the day, it's entirely up to you. But from a group standpoint, I will say this. Hey, look, the coastal city, and let me talk to Black Americans, right? And when I say Black American, I'm talking like actual Black people, you know, not to be disrespectful or anything like that. I'm talking about Black Americans from the soil. It might be time to get up out these coastal cities, man. I'm gonna just be honest with you, bro. I mean, unless you with what's going on, and this is not an identity politic conversation. You know, I don't want to make it sick because I'm not for identity politics per se. I am for certain specifics, of course, but a broad stroke conception of identity politics, I'm not with that. You know, I'm just not. You know, but me and Van Cat and Ricardo, shout out to my co-host on Tape Fist Politics. I mentioned something in the show we had last week, and I think my next show we're gonna have to break this down further in another rendition of the politics of blackness, because I you know, for Black people, they don't seem to understand the subsections of the political sphere that we live in. You know what I'm saying? And again, I'm not with the basing your entire political ideology on race and identity. It's not me. But I understand that there's aspects of it. You really ain't got no choice but to have an aspect of it. Being a Black person in America. You know, you could try to wish it away all the fuck you want to. The reality is, socio-politically, is there. Whether you like the shit or not. I've never denied that. You know what I'm saying? Do I go around talking about white supremacy and this? And no, I don't. I don't. But do I look at it just as a mere inclination? Like, come on, man. Like, let's keep the shit real. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep the shit real. Now, a lot of that falls into dynamics where you live. That's just a fact. You know? So when we look at what happened in New York last night, I believe it was District 10, District 13, I forget the other district, where you had incumbents, you know, who were accused or are in fact, quote unquote, Israel supporters or whatnot, this and that. That was the running theme of the campaigns. You know, on top of course, local matters within those communities in those districts in New York. Again, the Mamdani backed, Peace Ricardo, what's up? In the Mamdani backed with the Mamdani backed candidates that were running in those congressional seats, I believe they had other primaries as well, like in state legislation. You know what I'm saying? That he may also had some other candidates running. But I'm just talking about the congressional seats because I want to go somewhere with those. Those candidates won. I believe a couple of them were running against incumbents of those seats. And those incumbents lost. There's a paradigm shift happening in a lot of these coastal areas that I don't think the rest of us are really like prepared for. You know what I'm saying? And when I say the rest of us, I'm talking about people outside of the Democratic Socialist Party and their sympathizers. We're not ready for the shit. You know, I say we meaning the rest of us. We're not ready for this shit, man. You know, I say in jest on the show sometimes, hey, black folks, man, look, come back home. Come back to your ancestral home of the South, man, where you belong. You know, I say it in jest a lot of times, but hey, man, there's some truth to this shit, bro. Your socio-political dynamic is not suitable for what's going on in a lot of these areas right now. It's just not. Now, if you with the shit, hey, more power to you. You know what I'm saying? More power to you. Ricardo says socialism here to stay with those New York prime. Hey, that's what it's looking like, bro. That's what it's looking like. Now, I like to come at it more so from a power dynamic, right? We talked about this with, I had a discussion with Venkat on the show last week about this very topic. And Venkat didn't want to realize the political power in which black Americans hold in the South versus everywhere else. Of course, in a lot of major cities around America, you see black leadership, but I'm talking about totality. It's a different dynamic in the South. That's just a fact. You know, he disagreed with me and I gave him some anecdotal evidence. Well, I ain't even gonna really call it anecdotal. It's proof positive. Where in the mayoral race in Athens, Georgia, home of the University of Georgia, go Bulldogs, a college town, but the predominance of the population in Athens and the surrounding Clark County is heavily Republican, Trump heavy. First black mayor just got elected there, Democrat. The dynamic surrounding Georgia is changing because of the urban sprawl. This is what I was trying to get him to understand. the group of people that's moving and working and living in New York is not the same group of people that's living, working, and moving to a place like Atlanta and its surrounding area. Like I said, the Atlanta Metro at this point is basically the airport on up. The entirety of North Georgia is Atlanta right now. Why? Because a lot of the prices inside the city limits, within the city limits, are high as hell. Nobody's denying that. Nobody's denying the affordability crisis. That's not exclusively a DSA issue, a Democratic Socialist issue. That's a people issue. The Democratic Socialists of America are not the only ones that's pushing affordability. Right? So because of it, a lot of young professionals and aspiring entrepreneurs, so on and so forth, fresh out of college or whatever the situation may be, or just pursuing a better life, whatever the situation may be. A lot of people that's moving into Atlanta comes to find out, hey, I can't afford to live in the city. I got to move outward. And people continue to move outward and outward and outward, where it encompasses the entire fucking northern half of Georgia. And they just commute into the city if that's where they work at. Georgia's not a big state. You know what I'm saying? It's not a big state. So what I'm sitting here telling you is there's a overlap. I forget what you call the graph where you have certain percentages and they overlap within a certain criteria. I forget what it's called at the moment. I'm driving and I'm tired. Like I said, it's been a long week and it's only Wednesday. But there's certain political issues, socio-political issues that overlap. Hell, honestly, it overlapped with not only Democratic Socialists or quote unquote moderates, it overlapped with MAGA too. Be honest with you. One of the main tenets of MAGA during the 2024 election was affordability. We knew it was bullshit, but it was still a tenet. So there's certain things that overlap within a socio-political influence. That's no doubt. You know what I'm saying? So this is not a democratic socialist issue. But what we see in New York is, and again, you know, not to use these words maliciously or no shit like that, but it's a hostile takeover. It's a hostile takeover. I seen this morning on a couple of videos, you got some Latinos and Latinas in New York infighting now about the primaries last night. Because it was one Latino going up against another Latino in the primary. I think that was an incumbent. And you had some Latinos saying that you know, and this goes back to our identity politics thing. Black folks do it too. Everybody fucking do it. That the Democratic Socialist candidate was bypassing or ignoring certain issues in the Latino and Latina community for AIPAC and Israel. Same shit I hear from some black people. Same shit. Same shit. And this is why it's hard to take seriously a lot of people that goes exclusively on identity politics. Because at the end of the day, the shit just come down to same egg, different shell. You know what I'm saying? Same egg, different fucking shell. Some people like white egg, some people like brown egg. Pasture raised and all that type of crazy shit. Same fucking egg. The same issues you see in the black community, you see in every other community around the country. We just like to isolate it or conveniently make it a cultural or a stereotypical issue to make ourselves feel better. Everybody does the same shit. I don't care who you are. If you're in America, you do the same shit. So now you got infighting in the Latino community up in New York. I believe that these were Dominicans. You got infighting going on now. Now you're starting to see the fabric tear. Now you're starting to see it. Niggas saw that shit a long time ago. Niggas saw that shit a long time ago. I was the one trying to tell you, hey man, these quote unquote democratic socialists, these lefty loonies, you know, yeah, we should be broad scope when it comes to policy or whatnot. But you can't sit up here and deny the identity of an entire group of people. I told motherfuckers Bernie was doing that shit. They looked at me like I was crazy. They said, nah, man, Bernie's one of the greatest guys of this generation, politically. I'm like, okay, whatever. Bernie don't care about your black ass. And now you're seeing the fruits of Bernie's labor. That shit don't fly in a place like Atlanta. That shit don't fly in a place like Charlotte, Birmingham, Jackson, Mississippi. It don't fly. Nashville, Tennessee, to a lesser degree. Memphis, Tennessee. Columbia, South Carolina. Greenville, South Carolina. Again, not to say that the overlapping of certain socio-political issues aren't there. It's bad that you have to keep reiterating that, because if you don't, they'll miscalculate they rebuttal against you as being opposite of what they talk about policy-wise. And that's simply not the case. So you got to keep reminding sympathizers of these political groups that it's supposed to be the quote-unquote Big Ten. Again, the primaries are the primaries. For the most part, let me emphasize that, for the most part, you do your fighting in the primaries, and then once the primaries are over, whoever comes out on top as a candidate, that's who you support from a party position. But are we really talking about party positions when it comes to democratic socialism? A lot of these democratic socialists say some vile shit about the Democratic Party. And again, this is me on the outside looking in, because I'm not a Democrat. But I'm hip to news. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely hip to news. One of the candidates that won last night in the primary they showed it. Said some vile shit about the Democratic Party, man. Hell, said some vile shit about America, period. How serious are we willing to take the whole structure of the quote unquote Big Ten when you got people knowingly, actively setting goals to bring down the Democratic Party. Like, how is that shit possible? That's all I'm saying. How? You got some Democratic, I was on X this morning, you got some Democratic influencers saying, hey, look, man, at some point in time, and I agree with them. At some point in time, look, man, we got to draw a line in the sand. Why would the Democratic Party, the DNC as a whole, put in resources, time, effort for a candidate that's actively setting goals to bring down the very structure of the Democratic Party? Why would we do that? Why? Some of those candidates that won last night has said out of their own mouth that our goal is to like bring down the Democratic Party. And rebuild it, reshape it with our ideals and subculture and things of that nature. Like, huh? So that big tent shit just out the window. It's out the window. And I think if a lot of other Democrat leaders, you know, from a local, state, and federal level start to understand that, and, you know, like put up some barriers as far as what they will and will not accept, I think the Democratic Party will be in a better place. Nobody's saying, you know, don't be understanding and willing to, you know, like negotiate and parlay with certain ideologies and policy positions. That's what being a politician is all about. But you got to draw the line in the sand somewhere. I would think you would draw it with anarchy. You know what I'm saying? I would think that's just me. That's what I would think. You can have all your sayings about the establishment and all this other shit. Like, cool. I ain't got no issue with that. But you don't have the ability, you don't have the right to be an authoritarian politically for the makeup of the Democratic Party as a whole. You ain't got that right. So if you ain't with that, then your best move is to, you know, do a Jill Stein and like go green or some shit, you know, or just be independent. You shouldn't be allowed to register under the name of the Democratic Party when your goal is to crush the Democratic Party. Again, outside looking in. Outside looking in. But at the end of the day, again, it's the will of the people, man. It's the will of the people. And all I can do is put a mirror up to those said people and show them the destruction, the reshaping of the reality that they create through a process of democracy. Through a process of democracy. But when it comes to black folks, again, hey, all I can advise you is to say, hey, look, man, it might be a wrap for you. It might be a wrap for you in these coastal cities. New York, LA, Boston, Philadelphia. It might be a done deal, man. It might be a done deal. You know what I'm saying? San Francisco, Seattle, Portland. It might be a done deal, man. The power structure is changing. You know, let's put political ideals to the side only for a moment, right? The power structure is changing. Hell, even to a lesser degree, places like Houston and Dallas, the power structure is changing. That's a fact. Now, I'm not here to argue with you about if you like said power structure. Or the people that's structured within that power structure.
In 1 3/4 miles, exit right.
That ain't my argument. My argument is the power structure in and of itself, whether you agree or disagree, the identity of that power structure is changing. We've always had quarrel about the people within the power structure. That's always been an issue. But we had the ability to change it. But it'll still be the people that we're familiar with. It's always been that. Always. Now that's not the case. not in New York City, it ain't. You know, and I understand New York is a multicultural like hodgepodge. I understand that. I understand that wholeheartedly.
Right, then keep left.
But show me the sliver of representation from a cultural, from a political ideological viewpoint of Black Americans in those cities. You can't do it. You can't do it. A place like Harlem has been swallowed whole by the island of Manhattan. Swallowed fucking whole. Ain't no fucking power structure in Harlem, in that neighborhood. Not one that can hold any weight. Somebody name another neighborhood that's historically black in New York. Was it Brownsville, Brooklyn? Swallowed fucking whole. I got a brother that live in New York City. I got an uncle that live in New York City.
In 1 mile, keep right.
Like they just existing. Like ain't no political structure, bro. Not for them. Again, we must look at the overlapping of certain policy positions. Don't put me in a box saying that I'm anti-affordability. I'm not. But a policy position that's specifically tailored to black people in New York does not exist. Period. You can argue with me all fucking day. It's time to leave, is what I'm saying, telling you. Time to go. I'm authorizing the right of return to the South for black folk. Don't come to Atlanta. We full in Atlanta. Don't come here. Come to other places in the South. Hell, do I even dare say if it's one place that's vulnerable to this shit, it may be Atlanta. Just because of the sheer numbers that we done balloon with. You know, it breaks my heart to say it. Being born and raised in Atlanta. I was born in Grady and I'm possibly gonna die at Grady. You know what I'm saying? I love the city. I love the culture of the city. I love the excellence of the city. The representation of people that look like me. I love that shit. But even in the great city of Atlanta, we may be vulnerable to the DSA at this point. Because of how much industry we have, how much money we rake in, and the people that we attract. I don't dispute that. I don't dispute it one bit. We may be the first city in the South to fall. We may be the first one. But God damn it, hold the line. Hold the line. So I'm very interested to have this discussion with a person like Vancat, who, you know, I don't know if he declares himself a socialist like all the way in. So I don't know. You know, I jest with him and have fun with him, call him a lefty loony, all of this. But I want to have a serious discussion with him about what this all means. You know what I'm saying? Specifically, what this all means for black people in the country. So I think next week we're gonna do that, man. And we've been teasing this type of discussion for a while now. But now it's time to have a real discussion. The politics of blackness. I'm thinking of calling it blue black. Blue black, meaning are some black people within leadership and just in the Democratic Party as a whole putting Democratic policy over being black. I would make the argument that Democratic Socialists definitely do that. Like, definitely. I don't even think it's a question. But there may be others within the Democratic Party that do it as well, and we'll discuss that. So that's a brainstorm for the next Politics of Blackness. It'll be called The Politics of Blackness, Blue Black. That's a funny title. It'll be Blue Black. You know, some people are blue no matter who, they become anti-black. So I think that's a discussion worth having, you know. Definitely worth having. So be on the lookout for that, man. But I haven't even started on TLP for tomorrow. I haven't had the time. But like I said, it's I'm doing is getting some articles together and making a lame duck video. I'll do that tonight. You know, after I do my little activities when I stop work for the day or whatever. I should handle it tonight. It should be fine. It should be fine. But I just wanted to come up here and talk about that, man. What are y'all thoughts on these DSA wins last night? What are you know, and it's pretty much like they're gonna be in Congress. We're talking about New York State. You know, it's almost a shoe-in that they'll win those general elections. I mean, so you might as well go on, sign, seal, and deliver like now. And you know that it'll be a push for, you know, because the common theme for these people is Gaza and Israel and all that shit. So it'll be a common theme within legislation that these will be the people voting against certain, you know, that's a whole nother topic. That's a whole nother topic. So, but yeah, I just wanted to come up and say that, man. We'll see how everything goes, man. We'll see how everything goes. Damn, that shit is good, man. They got like this new iced coffee at Pilot, man, at the truck stop. This shit is delicious. I put my own creamer and my own sweetener in there. I don't use like sugar and all that shit. I put but this shit is delicious, man. It's like chocolatey. It's called Brazilian. It's got like a chocolatey flavor to it. Delicious, man. I done got into like I don't really drink I mean I drink coffee. Don't you know, but I done started like backing away from hot coffee and drinking iced coffee. To me, it's more refreshing, man. Iced coffee is, you know. But you gotta hurry up and drink it for the shit get watered down or whatever. But yeah, I've been enjoying iced coffee, man. I got some in my damn fridge right here, man. The Khalifa Farms. I don't know if y'all know that brand, but some days when I'm out and about and I ain't like nowhere where I can get iced coffee, I make my own. I use pecan milk as a creamer. Then I got some monk fruit drops that I throw in there, man. I'll say this and I'm up out of here. Y'all know I go on and off like keto diet or whatever. This is the longest that I've been on keto like ever. I've been on keto now for like almost 4 months. I ain't had a slice of bread. Uh, like I ain't had pasta or no shit like that, man. In almost 4 months now. You know, I like to do it on and off because I don't like to like suffer. You know what I'm saying? But you know, my palate has definitely changed, man. It's definitely changed. I'm gonna see how long I'm gonna actually do it. I'm thinking about doing it for the rest of the year, you know, and see what changes to my body, what you know, just overall like what it do. You know what I'm saying? But this is the longest that I've ever been in ketosis, like ever. Usually I'll do like a month on, month off. But the one thing I will say, like my energy level don't last long, bro. Like and you know, people that I talk about or people I listen to on YouTube and shit like that talk about keto. They talk about how, oh man, you're gonna like, yeah, you're gonna be dragging, you know, the first month, but after the first month, man, like you're just gonna have a whole new lease on life when it comes to energy because you'll be fat adapted. You know what I'm saying? You'll be using fat for energy or whatever, and you know, it's like you're just gonna be at 100% all day. That's some bullshit. That's some bullshit, bro. Now again, it ain't like, well, I'm just lethargic and I can't move or no. It ain't like that. But like again, it could be an extreme because of the type of work I do. You know, that could be influential in it as well. I ain't saying it ain't. Like I said, you know, I'm hard physical in the morning and at night based on the work that I do as a flatbed driver, right? I'm doing manual labor in a short burst, an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Then for 8 hours, I ain't doing shit but sitting on my ass, right? And driving. Then at the end of the day, I'm doing another hour, hour or less, because you know it don't take a lot of time to take shit off as far as putting it on of physical labor. Now and I started like going to the gym or whatever at night. You know, I do a hour on the treadmill some days, or some days I do like a 20 to 30-minute meal and strength training. I'm guessing because of me being sedentary for a long period of time, like the shit just making me crash. You know what I'm saying? But the reason I do keto is because I be wanting to sustain energy, right? The longest I've ever done keto, again, like I said, I'm doing it now almost 4 months. Just straight protein and fat for the most part. Of course, some shit got a little bit of carbs in it, but I'm not taking in more than 50 carbs every day. A lot of times it's way less than that, like way less than 30. Some days, hell, is be honest, it's like less than 10, less than 20. Because I'm just eating straight, like carnivore type shit. You know what I'm saying? Some days I don't eat no vegetable at all. Like it's just all meat. You know what I'm saying? Depending on like what I got. You know, I just start meal prepping and shit. Like this week, you know, I'm eating burritos. I'm eating ground beef cauliflower rice, and I mix all that shit together with some cheese, and I put it in a egg wrap. That's my dinner. You know, the cauliflower got a little bit of carbs in it, but not many. Maybe like 3-4 grams of carb, maybe. Then lunch, I got those little individual salads or whatnot that you get from Walmart with some oil. So I know for a fact, like this week, I'm not eating no more than 20 carbs a day. But a lot of the shit is work related. A lot of this shit is work related, man. I'm just drained. You know what I'm saying? I've been working all summer. I ain't had no time off. The only time I had off, well, I ain't even had time off for my son's graduation. I worked and then just went straight to graduation. So the last time I had any time off was spring break when I went to Panama. Which that was the entire week. But other than that, I ain't had no time off. None. 6 days every week working. And, you know, on Saturday, you know, all I got time to do is run a couple errands, do some grocery shopping. Shit, get on top of my wife, and that's it, man. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Then I'm back in the thought box, man. I'm back in the thought box. So, you know, that's just what it is, man. That's just what it is. But yeah, man, let me go and get up out of here. Finna get ready to get on 10. Ride this shit on out. But just think about what I said, man. Think about what I said. When VanCat see this video again, like I said, we're going to have that discussion. We definitely going to have that discussion, man. So, with that being said, hey, man, I'll see y'all tomorrow, 8:30. Tape Fist Politics. Like I said, I switched it up. I was going to do a retrospect of Trump. But it's just been so much international news that we're going to do Arena Abroad tomorrow. We're going to do Arena Abroad. Shout out to Black Sun. And I'm entitled The Arena Abroad. That's what I'm entitled. It's TFP episode, I believe, 13, The Arena Abroad, where we're going to cover some international news tomorrow. That's what we're going to do. So, come on, God, what are you doing? So with that being said, man, hey, yeah, man, I'll see y'all tomorrow, 8:30. Peace.
We